Hello, witchlings. Okay. Um, I was going to, and still am, probably after I do this video. Um, I was asked to do some more protection things. I've taught y'all already how to protect yourselves and how to, enchant a piece of jewelry or an item to carry with you for protection. Um, But there's so many other ways of protection in your home, when you travel, your car itself, your children when they're away. There's so many different things that I'm going to do a couple of videos on that, and then we'll move on to other things. I was asked to do a video on enchanting a mirror. Okay. And she said a long mirror. Well, it really doesn't matter what kind of mirror, if it's round, square, triangle. Well, the triangle one probably wouldn't do very good, but we use those for something else, or the triangle itself. But you know what I mean. um, a mirror is a mirror is a mirror. I think a lot of people use the round ones because in the older days, that's how they made them. You probably didn't have all the square and big old fancy long mirrors that you have now. Although you've seen movies, where those long dressing mirrors that come on the swivel, the old fashioned, real pretty wood ones. Anyway, and you see them and spirits coming out of them and stuff like this. This is one thing about the mirror. Um, First of all, it would depend on what you're going to use the mirror for. Let's see. If you're going to use it for scrying, um, of course, the mirror needs to be dark. Um, and you can do that with a long mirror. You can make it however you want to make it. If you're going to use it as a universal mirror, because they can be used for returning something back to someone, return to sender spells. Like if you have think that somebody may have put a curse on you or put some negative energy on you, then we put them. Some you can even buy them mirrored boxes, and then we put things down inside the mirror boxes. And return it to whoever sent it to us. And you don't even have to know that person's name. There's ways to get around that. But I will go into that later on. Also, putting hexes on someone, especially if it's another witch. Because if you do this to another witch, she's probably going to know who that came from. She has her ways of finding out. She's, witchy and magical, just like you. So, that's another reason we would use a mirror. You put the mirror face down and do your spell on it. So whenever she looks through her mirror to see who's done this, then all she sees is a dark spot because that mirror is down, and either that or her own reflection. And that's a long one. That'd have to be a whole other video. So now, I am a ritualistic witch, ceremonial. I like if I have time, which usually I make the time because I know if I'm going to do a spell, probably I'm thinking about it probably a week in advance. Now, there are some that come up that, you just do a quickie, light a candle, put a little bit of oil and herbs around it, and chant your spell, and it's done. So, But with the mirror, there are so many things that can go on with that mirror. Now, I know if there's any seasoned witches watching this, you already know what I'm going to say. For the beginners, first of all, I want you to understand that that mirror, once you do this, once you enchant that mirror, it opens a portal. Okay. Anything can come through that mirror. A lot of witches, if we're not using our scrying mirrors, we'll wrap them in a silk cloth. We cover them. Any mirror that you use for divination should be covered if you're not using it. Okay. That way, nothing can come through there without your permission. You don't want stuff sitting or falling around your house. Which is another reason that if something like that happens, as I told you in my first videos, that you need to have your protection spell on you, possibly your house, and learn how to do a banishing ritual in case you can't get rid of it. Okay. I know. Here goes my computer again. I don't know. Anyway, so how to begin doing that? Okay. Now, set you a knot that you want to do it. I would say on a waxing moon, which is when the moon is, try to think of the moon going like this. It hits the tip of the triangle, which is the full moon, and it starts coming back down. Okay. And then it'll go back up again and then back down again. Okay. Well, when it's going up, that's waxing. Okay. In case you don't know this, that is a waxing moon. Now, that means energy's building. Okay. It's building up to that full moon. So, any spell that you want to do, probably if you want to work with lunar magic, which we all go by that moon in some shape, form, or fashion. That's just part of being witchy. We're not creatures of the night. And so anyway, you would probably want to do this on a waxing moon or on the full moon. Okay, waning, when it's coming back down, going through its death cycle, that's for banishing things. That's for giving things away, getting rid of bad energy, getting things that are bad, no longer serve you out of your life. So that's when you would do a spell to get rid of something. Just think, rising energy, you want that energy for your spells. Waning, coming down, everything's easing off, everything's slowing down, the energies aren't as great. Now, some people will tell you different. As I said, anything that you hear me say in these videos is how I do it. Somebody else may tell you different, but this is how I do it. So to begin with your mirror, earlier in that day, if you've decided that you're going to enchant, sorry, my house shoe keeps falling off. If you've decided that you want to enchant that mirror that night, I would recommend that you go in there, way early in the day, or get your mirror, whatever you're doing. I don't recommend. First of all, you want to clean it. I really don't like using chemical cleaners when it comes to something like this, but you need to get everything off of that mirror. It needs to be completely cleansed. So you can wash it with soap and water, dry it with a towel, some paper towels. You can use your Windex, but after you use the Windex, I myself would go ahead and wipe it down with a wet soapy rag. and then dry it. You don't want any chemicals on there if you can avoid it. We don't put those on our magical tools. It inhibits the energy, is the way we feel about it. So once you've done that and you've got it all clean, I would recommend Palo Santo. Um, you can go ahead and use sage um, to do this, because right now you're just, consecrating it. You know, go ahead and clear it off. And if you can, if you have pets or kids or anything like that, you can go ahead and put a sheet, preferably a white sheet, over it, to keep the dust off of it for the rest of the day, and to keep possibly children or animals, from getting prints on it or something like that. You want to keep it clean for that night. Now that night, when you go in, and some people will tell you too, you ain't got to cast a circle. Yes, cast a circle. Okay. I'm telling you to cast a circle. Because once you start enchanting that mirror, there's no telling what's going to hear you on the other side. Ears are going to start popping up everywhere, and radars are going to go off. It's like, oh, we have another door. We have another door. Okay. So that night, when you go in there, first of all, you need to go ahead and cleanse that mirror again with. I'd rather you have Palo Santo this time. If not, your sage is fine. If you don't have either one of those, you can use a dragon's blood incense, and go over that mirror again. Okay, and be thinking while you're going over that mirror this time of your intent that you want for that mirror. Because once you cast this spell on this mirror, once you enchant it, your intention has to be direct, clear, and to the point. Okay. You can't muddle around. You have to know exactly what you want it to do. Okay. And make no beans about it. Just have a clear intent. So while you're doing this, you're thinking about what you're doing, what you're going to use this mirror for. Then draw in your corners, cast your circle. I would recommend whenever you're calling to the elements, you can say, and I always start in the east, say, I call to the east for the power of air. Please consecrate this mirror and help me do my work. Ask them and to watch over your circle. Always ask them to watch over your circle. Now, this is for you that don't have a deity. Okay. Some people think, well, I have my deity and they'll protect me, so I don't need a circle. And that's fine. Mine's Hecate. She's pretty awesome, and not a whole lot messes with her. So, well, that's why a lot of times I don't cast a circle, but there's still sometimes when I hear her saying, now you know what you're supposed to do. Why aren't you doing it? So I cast my circle. Now, once you get your circle done, and if it's a mirror, the lady that asked me specifically about this, it's a long mirror. Now, I don't know if it's on the wall or if it's one of those that sets on the deals like I was talking about a little bit ago. Either way, if that mirror sits on where it can be moved, you need to have that in a circle. Okay. If it's on the wall, then do like I said. You can envision that circle going up anywhere. You can you can envision it going around the back of the mirror, between the mirror and the wall. You're encasing that mirror in your circle. Okay. Now this is what I would do. Have you a candle, probably a black one. I think you might need a little bit bigger than a chime candle because depending on how long it takes you to put your intent into that mirror, you want that candle to stay lit. You want to be able to blow that candle out yourself. Okay, so I would recommend, even if you use a tall tapered black candle, that's fine. Hopefully it won't take you that long to do it. Now, once you've got all this done and you're in the dark and you're with this candle, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, be in the dark, okay? It's just you and this mirror and this candle. You would stand, or I would stand in front of the mirror with that candle, okay? And you can say something like, by the power, of fire, this glowing light, I come to speak to you tonight. Oh, mirror, I come to speak to you tonight. Or mirror, I come to speak to you tonight. Just whatever words will come to your head. You're announcing yourself. You're calling attention to yourself. You want that mirror to notice you. Okay. Now, this whole time you're thinking of your intent, what you're wanting that mirror to do. Okay. Now, I have written a little chant that you can use. And like I said, this is just the original enchantment because I don't know what you want to use it for. After you say, if you use what I'm going to have you say, or um, an example of something to say that I'm giving you, then after you say this, then you need to start talking to the mirror. Um, and it'll be easy to focus because you'll be looking at yourself. Okay. Have total focus. Even if you don't talk for a while, just sit there and stare. You know how you daydream and you're looking at something, but you're really not seeing that specific object um, that you're looking at. You're looking through it or around it. You're just daydreaming. That's what you'll be doing. Now you can say something like, "Mirror, mirror, kin of water, hear me now. I am the queen's daughter. I empower you with magic's light, as you will empower me, starting from this very night. As you reflect this candle's glow, you will tell me what I want to know. I chant this so you will see it is my will, so mote it be." Okay? And like I said, I write these little things just so it may sound stupid, but it works. It'll work, I guarantee you. Then after you say that, um, like I said, start talking to it. Okay? Now this may take you all of this, probably by the time, depending on how long it takes you to cast your circle, and all the getting ready for it that it takes, then you're probably looking at an hour. Okay, because you're going to have to sit there and you're going to have to talk to this mirror for a while until you know that that mirror has heard your intent, until you know that you have put that intent, what you want it to do. Now, if this is a scrying mirror, um, well, I'd be a little bit careful I don't think anything's going to happen that first night, but you never know. It depends on how strong your intent is. Some people have more power within them than they believe at right off the bat. Some of us, it's been there forever and we just didn't use it. And so once you start bringing it out, boom, there it is, and it'll even surprise you. It's like, wow, where'd that come from? Which is another reason I almost didn't recommend putting the mirror in the scrying mirror inside your circle, because if it's in that circle is what's protecting you. So um, I'm going to tell you, you can do whatever you want, but I'm going to tell you, if it's a black scrying mirror, that's what it is made for. That was the intention of when it was made. Then I would set that mirror outside of my circle. Okay. Because, like I said, you don't know what's going to come through that. Because, like I said, you're going to be having ears pop up, even just a plain mirror. It doesn't have to be. The reason we black the mirrors out is because it's easier to see. It's kind of like taking a photocopy. You know, it's easier to see that reflection because of the black background. Does that make sense? So that's why we do that. Now, it doesn't mean that just because that mirror is not black, that something ain't going to come through it. So I would be careful, or to look up a banishing ritual. And if you want to avoid that altogether, you kind of want the mirror in the circle because, well, yeah, it'll be okay, because once it's in the circle and your intent's put into it, and you can put something in when you're casting your circle that nothing may enter this mirror at this given time. Anything that you say when you're casting, you're putting the law down, if that makes any sense. But I'll tell you something about the circle. And this is what a lot of people won't tell you, or a lot of people just don't know. The spirits, especially the little imps, the lower class demons that have nothing better to do with their time than run around tormenting humanity, playing little tricks and making your life miserable is what they love to do. So they'll come in there and do that, but a lot they could come through that circle if they want to. It doesn't matter what you say, what salt you have around that circle. Um, they could if they wanted to. Okay. Most of them don't do it out of respect. They know it's a boundary. Um, and I think they might be afraid of what might happen to them if they cross it. Because we are witches, we can call on anything. So I think they use their brain when it comes to that. But if you get one that just don't give a damn, you're going to have something dark and evil inside that circle with you. Okay. And there's nothing really you can do about that except learn a banishing ritual, like the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, as I said before. And you will have to look that up. It's all over the internet. I don't do it, and I don't know it well enough to teach you. So you can look that up. I don't mean to scare you. I'm just telling you that once you start getting in this craft and you start messing with things, everything's not roses. Everything's not a pretty little love spell and a money spell. We do work with energies, and even though I don't believe in um, dark and light energy, there's good and bad energy. Okay. Um, there's a lot of things that could go wrong. So this is why I'm stressing protection so much when I'm first starting y'all out with this. Okay. There's a lot of things you can do to protect yourself. Um, and so, anyway, that's pretty much how to do that mirror. Now, you can sit there, sit down inside your circle, in front of the mirror. Um, Set your candle down where the glow will still be in the mirror. If you have to tilt it, or if it's one on the wall, maybe get a little, I don't know, you can use a step stool, something to set it on where it'll be in that mirror. The glow will be reflecting in that mirror. And don't touch, the glass of the mirror, but around the sides of it as you're talking and you're closing your eyes, because everybody knows if you see and can feel something, it's easier to concentrate. That's why a lot of us have our statues of our goddesses and stuff like that. It's better to cast that intent. And like I said, remember, have it in your head exactly what you want from this mirror. Okay? Because once you've done all this and you're in there going, okay, I am wanting you to do this, and you will be my magic mirror. You will answer my questions when I ask, whatever you're using that for, or you will make me beautiful to myself. Who knows? Whatever you want to enchant in that mirror, you can do it. Okay. Um, but you don't get in there and go, um, um, well, I forgot what I wanted. Have it in your head, because this is a real thing. This is happening. And you want it to work the first time. If you don't get that intent in there good, that's defeating the whole purpose. Everything about magic is the intent you put into it, and you're going to have to put a lot of energy into that mirror. Okay. So during that day also, after you cleaned your mirror and you've saged it or Palo Santo'd it, um, rest. Don't do it on a day or on a night when you worked all day long, or the kids have ran you crazy, or something like that. If your kids are going away to the grandparents for a weekend, then would be a perfect time to start this, schedule this. Just make sure your energy is up, because you're going to need every bit of it to put into that mirror. Okay. Now, after you do this, you don't forget to close your circle. Okay. A lot of people do that. They'll just say, oh, they got through the intent and the enchantment. Now they just get up and walk out. Don't do that. Close that circle back. Okay. And remember to go counterclockwise. Now, for the first week, I would go in there and talk to you. You don't have to draw your quarters, and do all the ritual stuff again, but talk to it. Keep talking to it. Talk to it every day. If you go in that room, every time you go in that room, talk to it like it's a person standing there. Okay. That mirror is coming to life. You have breathed life into this mirror. So you want to keep talking to it, waking it up, making it alert. Um, and then about, I don't know, I'd say after you've talked to it every day for a week, go in there and think of something that you want. And I'll also tell you another thing. Don't be surprised if that very first time that you go in there to talk to that mirror, because it's divination. If you're going to ask it something, it's going to show you in whatever way it can. Okay. Now, and it may not do anything at that given point. You may go, well, that didn't work. Well, you get up, you walk out of the room, and boom, your answer hits you right like a 2x4 right in the head. Like, oh, okay. It may happen that way. It may be the next day and you see something on the internet. It may, it's not necessarily going to speak to you. Wish they did. That'd be pretty awesome. But Just because the mirror's not blacked out does not mean, because you will be in the dark doing this with only a candle in front of you. Don't be surprised if you don't see something in that mirror. Okay. Now, don't be afraid of it. It will startle you at first. It did me. Um, don't be afraid of it. Sit there, take deep breaths, and look at it and say, what are you doing here? You know, are you here to answer my question? Or are you here to help me? You know, something like that. Talk to it like you're not afraid of it, because it may not come back if you jump up and run out of the room. So don't do that. Try to sit still. Just take deep breaths. Your eyes are probably going to be that big around, like, oh shit, what do I do? Well, you sit there. And if it doesn't work at all the first time, if you don't see anything, if you don't feel anything, it's okay. Keep talking to it every day. Go another 5 days or so. Keep talking to it, and then try it again. It's all about your intent. It's all about breathing life into that mirror. You know, you have to put that intent in there, whatever you want it to do. But that's enchanting your mirror. Okay. I also wrote a little something when you go back in to talk to it or ask it something, whatever your game plan is for this mirror. You can say, mirror, mirror, water's kin, see me now before you again. I come before you seeking the light. Tell me what I need to know tonight. Something a little bit like that. And I always say mirror, mirror, water's kin, because we look at mirrors like water. It's related to the element of water, to the west, which is another thing. This mirror that you're enchanting needs to be on your west wall, okay, because of the water sign and because of its connection to that. You want it as close to that as you can get it. It makes the enchantment easier. Everything will just go smoother for you. So have that mirror on your west wall, or if it's a mirror, if it's a scrying mirror and you've got it setting up on something, have the back of it facing that west wall, okay? Remember to cover your mirror when you leave it. You don't want it dirty. You don't want anything coming through there while you're not watching it, okay? And I hope I got it all out there good enough for you. If not, Shelly, email me again and I'll just answer questions and then try to throw them into my other videos. But I appreciate you asking, and it gave me another topic. And thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe so I will keep doing this because I enjoy it. And y'all have a good evening. By the way, it's a full moon tonight. Hope you did something fun. Bye-bye.